I'm Jaden Braggs. We here with Atlanta Streetwear Market, and this is my office. Pull up. Being genuine in what we're making, like, it's not everything has to always have a crazy meaning, but at the same time, just making random stuff just because, like, you want to make a sale, it's like you can tell 100%. A lot of my ideas come while I'm at work, and I'm like, I can't act on it right now, but I'll write it down, and when I get home, I'll work on it. Or sometimes I'm in the shower, think of a design, you know. It's just any time, and it could be other places like Atlanta Streetwear Market. You just get inspired and you see a lot of people doing their thing. It's like, I'm gonna go home, I'm gonna brainstorm for 2 hours straight and just think. So really, like, last year is when I realized, like, this can be the thing that changes my life, like changes my family's life if I really focus in. And there's a lot that goes on. Like I said, I still work a job, so it's not like you can just put 100% of your energy into, you know, your passions. But I've been taking it serious for a while, and I feel like that's the only way you should do it. You shouldn't be halfway in, halfway out with something that you truly care about and something that you want. You know, I was always able to be myself and express myself how I want to. So the pieces that I make is genuinely pieces that is stuff that I wanted to wear at the time, stuff that I've been thinking about at the time. And just having that freedom to really be myself is shown in every piece that I create. 100% sewing. If a brand owner themselves knows how to sew products, and it doesn't have to be crazy, you don't have to be making cut and sewing garments, but just honestly just knowing the process. Like, there's a lot of people, especially today, like there's probably countless brands that started today, this very day, and they don't really enjoy fashion. They don't really want to learn about fashion. They don't really even care about the processes that their manufacturers are going through, or like they don't want to learn about the real every step of it. And it's just like, when you know how to sew, it's like, okay, this person 100%, they know. Even if you're manufacturing stuff, you know what's going on, you know the processes. And yeah, different stuff in pop culture, shows, animes, and also my family. Like my mom is my biggest inspiration, and you know, she's swaggy, I'm swaggy. It's inevitable. So you don't always got to completely finalize the idea, but have something that you know you're working towards, so you can really see the end point. Because if you're just trying to create, and there's different types of creating with no real end point is another good form, and some of the best ideas come from that. But when you have a real focus and you know what you're trying to create, you just take that time to brainstorm and think about it. The process of making something just becomes 100% easier. So yeah, my first step would just be to finalize what I want to create and just, you know, put the steps down to create it. I started sewing and I was just making stuff for myself. I saw everybody starts out making flare jeans for some reason. I don't know why, but I started out making flare jeans and also sweatpants at the same time. But I shortly switched, like only like 2 months in, I switched to cut and sew pieces. And that's when my knowledge of fashion design broadened a little bit. And I was like, I want to really make stuff for more people. But at the time, sewing was like, I can sew, but just the thought of sewing 100 pieces seemed insane to me at the time. So I took the time to learn how to manufacture stuff. And this was also beginning of 2024. But yeah, around like May 2024 was my first drop for iBraggs with a manufactured pair of sweatpants. And they were actually a recreation of one of the first pairs of sweatpants I sewed myself. So almost 3 years now, because I started sewing there in my own room. I was sewing and I didn't have a lot of space. Like, I had a lot of stuff cluttered around on my desk, and I was still making it work on a home. I wish I had the machine here, but it was just a normal brother sewing machine. And I think a lot of people feel like you need, my machine was great, I'm grateful, but a lot of people feel like you need the highest level of equipment to start, which is not true. You can start whenever you want with whatever you have. I didn't want to get my clothes, my samples and stuff and inventory all just mixed together in the same area, because it is a lot. It's even just sewing, the studio gets messy, it gets super messy. So it's having your studio right next to where all your inventory that you're shipping out to customers every day, it's possible, definitely, but you know, I wanted to have an area where I can come to and kind of like clock in, okay, right now we're shipping out orders. And yeah, social media is definitely both a fuel for streetwear and a distraction, 100%, because it's just about what you're consuming, how much you're consuming, and you know, just what you do with that information that you do consume. Because two people could look at the exact same thing, and one person can that can give them the idea to make something that takes a little inspiration from that thing, but is also 10 times better in its own way. And then another person can look at the same thing and all they're thinking about is, oh, I want to buy this. So yeah, that's not bad, but you know, social media could either be a distraction for you to just get your mind off things, or it could be a pool that you can find unlimited inspiration from. So just having that balance and displaying stuff that you want the world to see, and also keeping your ideas to yourself until they're fully ready to be, you know, put into motion. Because a lot of people talk about an idea they have, and they talk about it so much that they never really act on it. You just talked about it like over and over. You told all your friends, you told your family, but did you really act on it? So it's just all about the intent you have behind it. Because I have a piece, you know, it has the Japanese flag on it, and I'm not Japanese. I like a lot of Japanese culture, and I'm indulged in it. But some people would take something that they really have no interest in, something that they might not even like, and they'll try to benefit off of making a product or a piece that has to do with that culture. And that's when it's really like, it can be offensive, or it's like you just making stuff. It's a lot. This month specifically, I've been trying to broaden my pattern making knowledge and just working on cut and sewn jeans. And matter of fact, let me show you the studio. Come on. Welcome to the studio. What's up, y'all? So right here, this is what I've been working on this month. Every single one of these pieces was cut and sewn by me, 100%. Even dyed, distressed, 100% by me. And all this month, you know, is what I've been doing for February. Just been trying to broaden my knowledge on real pattern making. So these are really just replicas of the same pattern with minor tweaks, so I can really get it. But this was the first pair I made this month. You can tell they're like super baggy. The design fire though. But you know, from this pair, I made a bunch of alterations, made them slimmer, came out with these, and just, you know, kept improving on them and just making different pairs. And that's really all it is, practice, and you get better as you go. So these were some jeans I was working on. I'm gonna finish these up tonight. But right now, we're gonna make a little beanie so we can keep our head warm. So first step into making any cut and sewn piece would be get your pattern. You gotta have a pattern. Now you can make something just off your mind and drawing it out. But if you have your own pattern, that makes it able so you can replicate what you make. And that's how you can make, you know, different versions and experiment. So I recommend learn pattern making when you're starting out, because that is a hard thing to learn. But once you do, it just opens up so many more doors. So yeah, get your pattern. This isn't even my pattern. You can go on Etsy. That's a good plug. Dollar patterns, you know, search up Etsy. You need a hoodie pattern. But yeah, I got this beanie pattern for a YouTube video. Next step will be get your fabric. So we got some denim right here. It's some stretch denim, the same one I used to make these jeans. We're gonna make a beanie out of it right now. So get your fabric and just roll it out. You can also use some old pieces you have. You can make a beanie out of a shirt, whatever you want to do. So once you got your fabric laid out, we're just gonna give it a nice press to get it nice and flattened out. I recommend when you're starting to sew, just get used to ironing. Every single step, every time you sew, get used to ironing. It makes your pieces way cleaner. It's noticeable. So yeah, just give it a nice press. All right, next thing you're gonna get is your chalk, your scissors, and your pattern, of course. Just lay your pattern out where you want to cut and trace it with your chalk. You can also use weights so your pattern doesn't move around as much. For the beanie, we're gonna lay this bottom part on the fold right here. So this is a fold. So when you open it up, it'll be 2 pieces. I'll show you right now. So lay this bottom part in the fold and trace the beanie pattern. You can add a little seam allowance if you need to, but yeah, just trace it out. Boom. Once you got it traced out, give it a cut. Once you got your beanie pattern cut out, we're gonna turn it like this, open it up long ways. Make sure you can see the right side of the fabric. Right side of the fabric is the fabric that you see. The wrong side will be the inside of the fabric. So right side, we're gonna open it up with the fold in the middle and then fold it the opposite way. Just up and let these lines meet. Now we're gonna take our pins or clips and we're just gonna pin this edge together. My cutting was a little jagged, so the pattern is not perfect, but it's okay. Just take your time. You can also press this. And we're just gonna pin along this whole line. You can use clips or pins, either or. It's up to you. Okay. So now that we got that pinned, we're gonna sew from this point all the way down. And we're also gonna make little pieces about 4 to 5 inches. Just sew this corner off on both sides. So once again, we're gonna sew all the way down this side edge, and then from this corner, about 4 inches up this way. Let's do that. Don't rush when you're cutting or your pattern's not gonna line up like this. But you know, for demonstration, it's okay. Put your pattern under the needle. If you lift your presser foot, make sure your needle is in the fabric. Boom. Finish that straight stitch, and then we're gonna sew these little lines on the other side. Start at the corner. Same thing on the other side. Boom. After you finish this edge, we're gonna grab one side and turn it almost completely regular, but just halfway. So we're gonna match up these points. This might be a little hard the first time, but you know, you'll get better. So what we're gonna do is match these corners up, and then you can put pins once you get them lined up. Do it on the other side. You can like grab both, shake it out like that, then pin this side. And then we're gonna grab these 2 points and put these together, and then take these off and pin along this whole curve. The thicker the fabric you use, the harder it'll be. But just make sure you catch all 4 layers while you're pinning. Boom. Last one. Boom. Alright, put some on this side too. Catch all 4 layers. And then back to the sewing machine. Now once you have your beanie like this, last step is to just run another stitch all along where you clipped. So we're gonna do that. You can take your clips off, but make sure you're sewing through all 4 layers once again. Boom. We're gonna finish this edge as well. And once you do that, you can clean it up, snip it a little bit, but you're done. All you're gonna do is turn your beanie inside out. Fold the bottom up, and you got yourself a beanie. Now, denim might not have been the best material to use, but we still got a beanie. And we're gonna do one more step. Take your beanie, get your tag, some adhesive. This is gonna be the back, this will be the front. So we're gonna unfold this. Stick the tag right here. When it folds up, it would be upside down. Always test before you actually sew. So the tag gonna go right here. Put a little adhesive. Boom. Put that right there. And we're gonna sew the tag in. Take your time, don't rush. Boom. Clean it up a little bit. And now we're done. Got your very own iBraggs beanie. Like I said, it's a little too small for me to fit, but let's put it on the mannequin and see how it looks. Tough. It's a little too big for her, but there you go. That's how you make a beanie in less than 10 minutes, I think. I don't know. Pretty cool. So right now, we're in the beginning steps of making your own pair of jeans. I recommend that you guys have fun and experiment. Whatever you're making, don't put too much pressure on yourself. Just have fun. You can always make another version. So make different patterns, you know. Experiment as much as possible. These jeans I'm wearing right now is the most recent iteration of the Vanta denim. But right here is also 3 different versions. So this was a hand waxed pair. These are all cut and sewn from scratch as well. And this pattern will be another pair. But these were hand waxed with the wax brick. These were hand painted, then hand waxed. So yeah, official. These are one of my favorite pairs. Quality crazy. And I also recommend you get your brand tags on all your cut and sewn pieces, because it just adds that extra, you know, flair. And these were hand distressed Vanta denim. So all 4 of these jeans are essentially pretty similar. These I made a little skinnier, but you know, we just having fun with it, experimenting, and that's the most important part. So yeah, with your pattern, I recommend everyone learns cut and sewn stuff, because when you're reworking, you have a little bit of freedom. You can make fire stuff. Actually, let me show y'all these. I would say these are my craziest reworked jeans. All the distressing by me. These were just regular, you know, polo jeans before, but we added a double layer of Adidas pants under, tags, all of this sewn on from cut up pairs of jeans, all the distressing, flared inseam and outseam. And yeah, you can definitely have fun with reworking, but when you make something from scratch, you have complete control, 100% control. I want distressing here before I even sew it together, so I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna sew a layer under, and that's just why I recommend you learn cut and sew. We all start somewhere, so start out just doing whatever you want to do. Tiny alterations on t-shirts, you know, making sweatpants, whatever you want to do yourself, start out with that. Have fun, and you're gonna level up and level up and level up. Just keep producing and stop consuming, man. Shout out to Atlanta Streetwear Market for having me. I appreciate y'all for coming to the studio. And tap in with iBraggs, man. You see what we doing? I'm out.